there, thank you so much again for joining me on this channel. As always, I'm very grateful for all your previous views, likes, subscriptions and shares. I thought today we'd spend time investigating Islam and looking at the role of Muhammad. You will notice from the title slide we have, after his name, PBUH. And you may be wondering, well, what does PBUH mean? What does it stand for? Well, it stands for peace be upon him, and it's a sign of respect that Muslims, when saying the name Muhammad, will say peace be upon him, either out loud or just quietly in their hearts. Or they may say the Arabic, apologies for my Arabic here, alayka salam. Or you might even see it in a textbook, not as PBUH, but as SAW or SAWS, which is a way of sort of shortening that Arabic. I think the key thing is about respect. But really interesting, and I was just having a look at this when I was putting this together, is how there was a diversity of opinion. So some Muslims will say, yes, of course you should say peace be upon him, but it should be done all the way through the conversation, or all the way through the book, or all the way through the email that you're writing. Other Muslims will say, well, actually, of course you should say it, but you only say it the once, and that covers the whole conversation, because otherwise it might break up and get in the way, and can actually, if you're having a big discussion about the role and some of the ideas and teachings of Islam, every time you pause to say peace be upon him, that might break up the flow. So I just wanted you to be aware there is a diversity of opinion on that. But what there is not a diversity of opinion is that you must absolutely have that respect for Muhammad. But in your own sort of research, you might want to think about, can you think of any other examples where names are given that particular status or that significance in other religions, or just society in general? Okay, I was thinking about the TV series The Crown, and of course, the Queen is always referred to as first meeting as Her Majesty, and then after that it's Ma'am. So that's something you may want to consider. Anyway, we need to go to the beginning, and Muhammad was born in 570 CE in the country we now know as Saudi Arabia. And here's a modern map. You can see it's slap bang in the Middle East and surrounded by Oman and Yemen, Qatar, Iran, Iraq. So it really is right at the hub of the Middle East. And you can see if you go over the Red Sea, you actually get to Africa as well. So a very important country in terms of its placement in the world. And Muhammad had a really tough beginning to his life. His father passed away. Then at the age of 6, his mother died. So effectively, he was an orphan. Thankfully, he was raised by his loving uncle, Abu Talib. And as he got older, he got involved in business and became a leader of a camel caravan train, the ships of the desert. That's why I've got some pictures of camels there. Obviously, you would move your goods around strapped to the back of camels. And he built up a reputation and gained a nickname, Al-Amin, which means trustworthy or trustworthy one. And at the age of 25, he married Khadija. And Khadija was a little bit older than him, but really interesting as well is that she was a businesswoman, and that tells us something about the status of women in Islam as well. She was a very successful trader, so a bit of a power couple, if you like, as a phrase we might use in the modern day. Now, Muhammad lived in Mecca, and Mecca was a city which I suppose you could say was on the slide, not in a great position, full of thieves, full of dishonest traders. And what's really interesting is if you look at the life of Muhammad, he liked to go away to a mountain called Jabal al-Nur, or the Mountain of Light, which is just outside Mecca. And he would go and meditate there. So he would sit and have some reflection and just be close as he could be to Allah. And we've talked about meditation in some of the other videos. But what's interesting is that this cave in Hira you can still visit today. It has about 5,000 visitors a day, and you can actually walk up the mountain and go and see the cave where Muhammad meditated. And of course, this cave is really the springboard as to what happens next in terms of Islam being founded. But again, I just couldn't resist it. I'm sorry if you've seen some of these videos before, but we see this theme of light again, don't we? The Mountain of Light. So just consider about other faiths and their relationship with light, whether it's candles in a church or whether it might be so the light's given out for Judaism on the menorah. That light, this idea of banishing darkness, is just one that keeps coming up time and time again. Now, Muhammad was there in his cave, we think roughly about the age of 40, and there he was sort of meditating. And a really significant moment is what's known as the Night of Power. And what happened is that this is when the angel Jibril appeared in a vision to Muhammad. Now, this is not an image of the angel Jibril. I just thought this was a beautiful image from Iran in the 1500s of an angel. I just love the fact it has this sort of almost like double pair of wings. It's really lovely. Anyway, the angel Jibril revealed to Muhammad the Quran. And he had the story is it has a piece of cloth, and Muhammad was at this point was illiterate. He was unable to read or write, but through this divine intervention, through this extraordinary moment, he was able to read it. And he went and spoke to his wife Khadija after this and said, this has happened. And again, the role of Khadija is significant because she reassured him and said, look, this is a message clearly from Allah. And then over a period of years, the Quran was revealed to Muhammad, and recited it and wrote it down. Okay, and of course the Quran is the holy book for Muslims. Now, the people of Mecca weren't always pleased to hear what Muhammad had to say. Despite this divine revelation, they weren't receptive to the teachings of Allah. And then in 622, I find this really curious, is how another city, Medina, he was invited by some of the traders to go to Medina and to actually spread some of the teachings there. And this moment is known as the Hijrah in Arabic, or the departure. And it's so important that the Islamic calendar is dated from this moment. It's seen as the moment where Islam began to spread. Okay, so he went to Medina, and it wasn't always easy in Medina either, because there were still some sort of traders and things who didn't accept the teachings. But the point is, he had a foothold because he was invited. That gave the authority to actually give some of the teachings about Allah. Now, in 630, Muhammad took an army and went to Mecca and went to liberate it, and went to the Kaaba, which is in the centre, and destroyed some of the statues and the idols that were there of the sort of pagan gods and so forth, and basically established the city as a heart of Islam. What's interesting though is that he still went and returned to Medina and actually eventually passed away there. But there's something which is often overlooked when it comes to how Muhammad treated other religions when he went into Medina, and he referred to Jews and Jews and Christians as people of the book, and he had great respect and reverence for those two faiths. And of course, Judaism, Christianity and Islam are part of the Abrahamic tradition. They can trace their origins, their DNA, back to Abraham. And what's really interesting is that he allowed Jews and Christians to practice their own faith. And one of my favourite examples is on this image here at the Hagia Sophia Mosque in Turkey. And if you look very carefully, you will see that you only have this glorious Arabic calligraphy, but you have a mural of Mary and Jesus, something we might perhaps see in a church. And I just think it's really interesting to have a think about interfaith dialogue. That's when different religions actually talk and listen to each other. And it's really something I think it's a great strength and a fascinating part of the story of Islam, when you see how Muhammad was very keen to have these interfaith dialogues. So have a look at that, and perhaps in your own studies and research you might want to delve a bit deeper. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. As always, I'm very grateful for your time, and don't forget, enjoy your learning. Hi there, thank you so much again for joining me on this channel. As always, I'm very grateful for all your can't remember what I say now. Hi there, welcome to this channel. I'm always very grateful for your... Hi there, thank you so much again for joining me on this channel. As always, I'm very grateful for your subscription. Hi there, thank you for joining me on this. As always, I'm very grateful for your views, likes, subscriptions, and shares. That's the phrase. Can't remember my own catchphrase.